upsets, understandably so. Don't watch it if it upsets you. But in the meantime, the hurricanes and the propaganda around that, and now the wars, and I'm not saying these aren't real, because in the three-dimensional world we live in, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening, without a doubt. So not about denying it, but not perpetuating and engaging that fear, because we are a vibrational universe, and our thoughts and our feelings do have a huge effect. So so how do we, go forth from this day? We're still here. Shake off our boots and wipe off our dirty britches and move forward. But I feel like it's all about resilience. And right here it says, resilience is the inevitable quality that allows some people to be knocked down by life and come back stronger than ever. Rather than letting failure or fear overcome them and drain their resolve, they find a way to rise from the ashes. Psychologists have identified some of the factors that makes them resilient. Among them is a positive attitude, optimism, the ability to regulate your emotions, the ability to see failure as a form of helpful feedback. And even after misfortune, resilient people are blessed with such an outlook, they're able to change course and soldier on. So, this world is requesting a lot of resilience from us at this time. I think that it's every moment, as I say over and over and over, preaching to myself and preaching to the choir, but we need to practice this. And it's making sure that our thoughts are aligned with that which is uplifting. The meditation, I wanted us to bring our loved ones. What I brought in is our little dog Lola, and how she is so soft. Those of you that have petted her, she's like so soft. She's like velvet. And just petting her, and then just, how good that feels, and the power of that feeling. That's been proven that cats and dogs, pets in general, depends on what kind of pets you like, I guess, but cats and dogs for me can bring you peace and lower your blood pressure, and they have them in nursing homes now. Facilities that didn't used to welcome pets now see the value for healing in that. So anything we can do to lift our vibe and bring that feeling in, not only is helpful for us individually, but since we're all part of this quantum soup, it's helping everybody. So every moment, it's about, that pause and shifting directions, as it says. They're able to change course and soldier on. And so instead of being engaged in the problem, do something to shift it. Take a breath, be still, ask, how can I, Holy Spirit, Buddha, whoever you reach out to or feel connected to, I'm choosing to be at peace here, and I can't be right now based on the circumstances. Please show me another way. That sincere request will provide exactly what we need, and it does every single time. Also understand, I think we can all say we've had situations in our life that have not been so fun, okay? It's, maybe we've been betrayed, or maybe we've lost a fortune, or maybe we lost a job or a relationship or what have you. But we've all had our tough times in those situations. And although when I look back, it's like they said, if everybody looked back and could trade their life for someone else's, if they looked at another person's history, they said, I don't want that one after all. So it's really, everything is here for our highest good. Those setbacks, those mistakes, everything is here to strengthen us spiritually. It's about us being resilient and overcoming everything in a place of grace, the resilience of the soul. And knowing that served a holy purpose. And you realize, I look back, and although there's some things in my life that weren't so great, I can say I wouldn't change anything, because I knew it brought me to this moment right here and now to where I am. And I'm grateful for that. So gratitude is huge. When Greg Braden, who we all love, talks about the theory, Darwin's theory, about evolution. And he said that really the people who thrive are those who are more, the new theory about evolution of the human spirit is those who thrive and succeed are those who are most adaptable to change. Those who can manage their emotional state in the midst of chaos. We're seeing a lot of this, okay? We're seeing a lot of chaos. We're seeing great guys like Ed who are going down there in the trenches, okay, and helping out and being restored by it and connecting. It's beautiful. So the human spirit can overcome all of this. When you think about the souls, let's just say where he is in the Keys, he said it's way worse than he could have imagined. I'm sure that, we can, go to Mexico, we can go to Texas and on and on and on. And there's a lot of devastation, and yet the people who are dealing with this somehow find a strength that they probably didn't have a clue that they had, because they realize that they're bigger than the stuff. That no matter what, and Governor Scott said, you can get more stuff. If all your stuff is blown away by this storm, it's okay. Just make sure that you remain, okay? So we begin to, I think we get kicked in the shins until we realize what's important. Now, I don't think we have to go through that, but I think we can also understand that the truth of who we are is far greater than anything that seems to be happening outside of ourselves. So, I found Jesus says that we would have tough times, but also reminded us that he would always be with us. If he's always with us, then he will help us. Be strong in him and seek peace by keeping your mind on him. We must stop dwelling on the bad. Resiliency looks past the troubles and puts their minds on Jesus, on Christ, on love, on God, on Buddha, whatever. We're free here to identify with whatever figures or not. But there is a source in this universe that if we keep our mind focused on that, which I choose to call Holy Spirit, Jesus, God, you may have a different label, and that's fine. Whatever brings you peace, whatever connects you to source is fine and dandy. But know that we look past our troubles and put our mind on that. Nothing is impossible. Everything, it will be just fine. It is just fine. We've heard the quote, and this one, tough times never last, but tough people do. I'm feeling like I'm a pretty tough cookie, and I think a lot of you all are too. It's endless. We've had a lot of situations this past year within our center. People dying, people with extreme health issues. But they're resilient. They're loving. They're optimistic. They dance. They do whatever. Anne is a perfect example of that. Ed's mother is another great example. So many of you guys. There is more to it than what it appears to be happening. And our past scars can remind us where we've been, but they don't have to dictate where we're going. Okay, so as I always say, we are reborn every moment, truly. To be reborn is to forgive and let go of my past and take each step holding the hand of love, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, whoever you choose. So we don't have to be bound by our past, but rather in this moment and in the next moment, I am reborn. And it's a choice and a decision that we can make. And of course, we never know how strong we are until being strong is our only choice. Can you all relate to that? Yeah. Sometimes you think, I can't, no more, it's enough. And yet something even bigger and badder comes along. I know I was at my wit's end 5 or 6 years ago about something. Really, that was a dark night of my soul. And a friend of mine said, oh, call this psychic. And I'm like, I don't really do psychics that much. I mean, it's not that I don't believe in them, but I always go to my Holy Spirit, I surrender, show me a better way. Well, Holy Spirit obviously had this gal call me and say, call this psychic because she's got the answer you need. And sure enough, she did. And she said, that without making a big story of it, that these situations that seemed were devastating at that time were preparing me for something bigger. And sure enough, within a few months, I was elected national president of the Alliance of Divine Love organization, and lots of other things beyond that. And I do see that without that experience, I probably couldn't have dealt with some of the issues that were going to come at me through that role as president and some of the roles I've played here. And I know I haven't perfected it yet, but I've come a long way. And I know if we all are honest with ourselves, that you realize that those events, if we allow them to be teachers, that they really do make us stronger. And I know that I speak from experience and conviction there. And so it's, we have to have faith to be resilient. We have to have that trust. And how do we develop that? I think little by little, just test it a little bit. And little by little, as we give, let go of and surrender this or surrender that. Maybe we're not willing to surrender everything, but the little steps we take, it's like, okay, this does work. Oh, I do feel better. Oh, this is great. Then all of a sudden, it gets easier, and we become more trusting in the process. Giving thanks, gratitude, huge, huge, huge. Give thanks in all things. Not just the good stuff, but in all things, because you know that there's a bigger lesson unfolding that we have no idea about. And we can do that, or I believe that we're able to do that when we know who we are in truth. That this is a soul journey, and that my soul is not affected by any of this. My spirit, my eternal nature, is not affected by all the dramas and situations and challenges in the world. And so I'm able to give thanks in that because I realize that that's not really affecting me in truth. But if I identify with the illusion in my body and needing all my stuff to be just in perfect order, then of course when that wrecking ball comes in, it's going to affect me because I identify with that. So it's really ego versus spirit identification is huge. I think the more we identify as a spirit, life gets much, much easier. We don't have to be afraid, and we don't have to panic because, like again I said, we're all okay. There is, it's like I said, the matter of trust, praying, really asking for resilience in all situations. We can always bounce back. I've seen it, and I know, again, each and every person in here, we can testify to that ourselves. But I know either by watching it in a movie, or maybe you have a friend or whatever, that their life circumstances are the pits, okay? And yet they turn, literal lemons into lemonade because it's a decision and a choice of how they choose to deal with it. So it's a few things. Why do some people bounce back and some don't? I think it's a mindset. I think it's a practice. It's a training. It's a vigilance. A few things we can do is, really work on our core beliefs that nothing can shake. That's, I think, why we come here. That's why we do workshops and seminars, to strengthen our spirit, become more aware. Find meaning in whatever is causing you stress. Know that there is a meaning in everything. Maintain a positive outlook. Much of this I've shared already today. It talks about optimism. Resilient optimists rarely ignore the negative. They learn from it and change. It's a form of what we call self-examination. So it's not about denial, it's about recognizing it and making changes or tweaks or adjustments. Take cues from someone who's especially resilient. Who's someone you've seen been through the muck and has picked themselves back up, and not only picked themselves up, but they're happy and they're thriving. Reach out to that person and say, I'm stuck. How do you do it? It's you want to take a cue in life from people who are doing well in something you want to do. Resiliency is one of them. I always learned as a young golfer, always go play with someone better than you. Always, don't be, because the golfers that were better than me, they were so generous of their time and interest, and I think that's what we're here to do, is to be, generous of spirit. So don't be afraid to ask somebody for some help. Don't run from things that scare us, face them. It says that scientists have found that resilient people tend to face their problems rather than run from them, and not just the big things. How you cope with the small problems is a strong predictor of how you would deal with the big things. In essence, dealing with your daily problems provides training for when the big ones hit. Sort of like the faith. Don't run away, face the problems. You got it. You got this taken care of. It's handled. Spirit's got your back. Faith. All of these things we have to reinforce. Reach out for support, as I just said. Don't beat yourself up. Don't dwell in the past, because in this moment you are divine and perfect, and nothing you can do can change that. There's nothing you can do to change God's mind about you, because in truth you are divine and perfect. Find an exercise regimen that you'll stick to. I'm still looking for that one. And I used to be the most obsessive exerciser, and now just not the case. Recognize what makes you uniquely strong and own it. Focus on your strengths and go back to a time maybe that you did something, how you overcame a challenge, and build on that and own that. We can all overcome all of this that's going on. So there's a resilience is really the key, I think, of how we navigate through life, how we can find peace in the midst of chaos, because there's a lot of chaos happening in this dream right now, in this world. And I found just a simple prayer that I'd like to close with, and it's actually based on Reiki principles, and it says, just for today, let me back up. I believe that this simple prayer or mantra, whatever you want to say, staying in this mindset, bringing it to your heart, creates resilience, creates a shield against all fear and anger. So today, just for today, I will not anger. Just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will be grateful for all my blessings. Just for today, I will work with honesty and integrity. Just for today, I will be kind to all living things. That simple prayer can literally move mountains and change the world. And not only that, change your heart. So peace be with us. We're all still here. We got a great journey ahead, and it's all good. Namaste.